Captain Emily Shaw of the Audacity stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the holographic display before her. The intricate web of wormhole points throughout the Sol system glowed softly, a network of cosmic highways that humanity was only beginning to understand. "Are you certain about this, Captain?" Lieutenant Richard Baker asked, his voice tight with concern. Shaw nodded, her expression a mix of determination and apprehension. "We don't have much choice, Lieutenant. The Naxath have been insistent." As if on cue, the communication panel lit up. "Captain Shaw," came the clicking voice of Trade Overseer Knoxkull, "we are prepared to finalize our agreement. Please join us in the conference room." Shaw took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. "Acknowledged, Overseer. We're on our way." As Shaw and her senior staff made their way to the conference room, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to cross a line from which there was no return. The Naxath delegation was waiting, their insectoid forms eerily still as the humans entered. But they weren't alone. Beside them stood another alien species Shaw had never seen before, tall, furry beings with an almost ursine appearance. "Captain Shaw," Knoxkull began, mandibles clicking, "allow me to introduce Ambassador Gore of the Tansroth. They have expressed great interest in your species and the Sol system." Shaw nodded politely to the new alien. "Ambassador, welcome. I must admit, we weren't expecting additional parties in these negotiations." Gore's rumbling voice filled the room. "The galaxy is a complex place, Captain. Alliances and interests often overlap in unexpected ways." As the meeting progressed, the true nature of the Naxath's interest in Sol's wormhole points became clear. Knoxkull explained, with occasional interjections from Gore, that in galactic politics, control of wormhole points was paramount. "You must understand, Captain," Knoxkull clicked, "that in times of peace, these points are considered sovereign territory. Wars have been fought over such access rights." Shaw felt a chill run down her spine. "Wars? But I thought the galactic community was largely peaceful." Gore let out a sound that might have been a laugh. "Peaceful, yes, but not without conflict. The Busnar are an anomaly in their aggression, but make no mistake, every species looks out for its own interests." As the implications sank in, Shaw realized they were playing a game far more complex than they had imagined. The wormhole points weren't just travel routes, they were strategic assets, potential choke points in a vast, cosmic theater of war. "And the Busnar?" Shaw asked, dreading the answer. "How did they fit into this arrangement?" Knoxkull and Gore exchanged glances. "The Busnar," Knoxkull began carefully, "no longer respect such conventions. They did until recently. We have enjoyed a very long-lived peace, but they made some advancements recently and they know they have superior technology and they take what they want, when they want it now. Which is why alliances like ours are so important." As the meeting concluded, with Earth grudgingly granting the Naxath access to specific, deep system wormhole points, Shaw couldn't shake the feeling that they had just entered a new phase in their galactic adventure, one fraught with even more danger and complexity than before. Back on Earth, President Albert Chambers sat in the Situation Room, surrounded by his top advisors. The mood was tense as they digested the latest report from Captain Shaw. "So we've essentially given the Naxath a foothold in our system," General Jonathan Madison growled, his fists clenched on the table. Admiral Victoria Hayes nodded grimly. "It was a calculated risk, but one we had to take. The intelligence and technology they're offering in exchange could be crucial." Chambers leaned forward, his eyes scanning the faces around the table. "And this new species, the Tansroth? What do we know about them?" "Not much," Dr. Elena Reyes, newly arrived from Area 51, admitted. "But preliminary analysis suggests their energy weapon technology could be compatible with some of our recent developments." As they debated the implications of these new alliances, a junior officer burst into the room. "Mr. President," he gasped, "we've just received a transmission. The Busnar. They're coming. They say they're ready to collect their payment." The room fell silent, the weight of the impending confrontation settling over them all. Chambers stood, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems our time is up. We are not ready to make a stand, are we?" General Madison scowled. "From what we have seen of the Busnar technology and tactics, if we make a stand at this point, loss of life would be in the billions and there is little to nothing we could do about it." Admiral Hayes added, "We are stronger than the last time they came to Earth, but we need more time, and luckily they are giving us time to build up." The more beaten we appear, the better on Mars. Dr. Yuki Tanaka stared at the latest test results, her mind reeling from the implications. The strange alloy they had discovered wasn't just unusual, it was revolutionary. Dr. Robertson, she called out, her voice trembling with excitement, look at this. The tensile strength is off the charts, and the energy conductivity. I've never seen anything like it. Dr. Carl Robertson leaned in, his eyes widening as he scanned the data. This could change everything. Spacecraft hulls, energy weapons, shield technology. Tanaka nodded, already imagining the possibilities. We need to get this information to Earth. It's time someone else did some experiments to verify our results. She trailed off, the enormity of their discovery sinking in. They had been on Mars for such a short time and already had discovered something groundbreaking. Was there more? Would peer review reveal some flaw in her research, and was it enough to deal with the growing threat? Dr. Tanaka played a system warning over the colony intercom. It outlined where the bunkers were and how to access them. The Busnar were coming, and on their last visit to the Sol system they wiped out the first Mars colony. The Mars orbital station was operating with a skeleton crew, much of their staff already transferred to the colony where the bunkers were thought to be safer. It was unknown now that the Busnar had made their point if there would be widespread destruction again or not. In the asteroid belt, the Prospector was making its final preparations to return to the Mars orbital station when the alert came through. Captain Brown, the communications officer, called out, "Priority message from Earth Command. The Busnar are inbound. All ships are being ordered to stay clear of Mars and Earth." Captain William Brown felt his heart race. The last time the Busnar came to this system they wiped out everything Earth had. He began scanning for just the right-sized asteroid between the Prospector and Mars. That one should do, plot a course. When we get close, send a drone to make sure we can land on it or pull us into close orbit around it. That should hide us well enough, he added in his thoughts, I hope. At the lunar orbital station, activity had reached a fever pitch. The Hope and Defiant, freshly upgraded with their new stealth coating, were running final system checks. The first XSV-1 Prometheus, while not fully complete, was being prepped for potential emergency deployment. Dr. Emily Takahashi worked furiously at her console, making last-minute adjustments to the Prometheus's systems. Captain Michael Davis of the Defiant stood nearby, watching the organized chaos around them. "Do you think we're ready?" Davis asked, his voice low. Takahashi paused, considering her words carefully. "We're as ready as we can be, given the time we've had. The real question is, will it be enough?" Before Davis could respond, another round of instructions for emergency shelter options was played over the intercom. The Hope and Defiant would be taking off as soon as they were crewed up, headed to the same warp point that the Busnar had used last time. They would separate and then try to take as many passive scans as they could of the Busnar ships. The lunar colony was ready to go to shelter at a moment's notice. While the lunar orbital station was going to serve as the place where the Busnar would pick up their demanded resources. Deep in the Siberian wilderness, General Viktor Volkov watched with a mix of anticipation and dread as his team scrambled to bring the Myzoan technology online. "Status report," he barked, as he got the intel report that the Busnar had contacted the Western Alliance again. Dr. Andrei Kuznetsov's voice was strained as he replied. "We've managed to integrate some of the Myzoan weapon systems into some fighters and tanks, sir. But without full understanding of the technology, I can't guarantee their effectiveness. At best we can prepare against Western aggression, and have nothing to offer in the way of defending against the Busnar yet." Volkov nodded grimly. "Captain," Lieutenant Baker reported, his voice tense, "the Naxith and Tansrov are requesting an emergency meeting. They say it's about the Busnar situation." Shaw nodded, steeling herself for another round of complex negotiations. As she made her way to the conference room, she couldn't help but wonder, in this vast, cosmic game of chess, was humanity a player, or merely a pawn? The Naxith and Tansrov representatives were waiting, their alien features unreadable to human eyes. "Captain Shaw," Knoxville began without preamble, "the situation in your home system has escalated. We have a proposal." As Shaw listened to their offer, her mind raced. The deal they were suggesting could change everything, for Earth, for the Busnar conflict, for humanity's place in the galaxy. But it came with risks, and potential consequences that could reshape the cosmic order. With Earth facing its greatest threat, billions of lives hanging in the balance, Shaw realized that the decision before her could alter the course of human history. Whatever she chose, there would be no going back. The stars had once seemed silent and indifferent. Now they echoed with the drumbeats of approaching conflict, the whispers of alien alliances, the hum of advanced technology beyond human understanding. And at the center of it all, Earth stood at a crossroads, its future uncertain but full of possibility. The game was entering a new phase, and the stakes had never been higher. Humanity's trial by fire was about to begin. What no one could see was the Mulnari furthering their own agenda. Through a dizzying array of ambassadors, merchants and agents, they were trying to create favorable terms for the humans with everyone in the galaxy that they thought they could manipulate. They had traded to the Loxus to get the humans' ships and technology. We're now encouraging the Tansroth introduction. Yet another agent was informing the Busnar how passive the humans seemed since the attack. There had been 300 years of peace before the Busnar learned their new technology, giving them unquestioned dominance. The Mulnari knew it was just a matter of time before that was pressed to conquer the other species. They had watched humans for longer than most, were aware of some of their traits, and were hell-bent on manipulating things to make humans the weapon against the Busnar. Their calculated manipulations were drawing suspicion from some of the races, but so far no one seemed to know just what they were playing at.